Chillers with EKSE, Monday to Friday, we keep on learning every day. We keep it real Monday to Thursdays, entertainment Fridays. Just so you know, it's 5 p.m. we're going live now. Just so you know, till 6, don't touch the dial, go. Just so you know, it's 5 p.m. we're going live now. Just so you know, till 6, don't touch the dial, go. Youth Block of the Year, catch us everywhere. Hashtag line EKSE, kuzofiwa this year. Youth Block of the Year, catch us everywhere. Hashtag line EKSE,
Welcome, Zanti. Molweni nonke abantu basekhaya. Yes, we are back with EKSE. We are back like umqolo bafethu. It is a Wednesday, and every Wednesday we do talk about all things robotics. So we do have an amazing show for you guys. We do have Andrew Klazinga Osuka, who's a robot engineer, Osuka from Clans Robotics, and also we're joined by Ibrahim Sadain, Osuka from I Love Robotics. Later on the show, we do get to chat with the Snonjongo Rockwell boys about the 2022 World Robotics Olympic competition that they entered, that they are going to Germany. How I wish they could take me along. But last but not least, we do have the contemporary R&B and rap artist Ulukanyo, who's going to give us 2 exclusive performances for you guys. So please make sure you hop on the social media platforms. It's EKSE on all platforms. So let's welcome you to Destination Awesomeness.
It is definitely the one and only EKSE. It's Lauren and Loa, if you haven't guessed already. So I want to know, what comes to mind when you hear the word robot? Now, in a South African context, traffic light, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hear the word robot and I think traffic light immediately, but that's not the kind of robot that we're talking about today. I wonder, do you picture maybe a metallic humanoid in a spaceship? Or,
a little bit.
Or a little bit.
Yeah.
Like one of
but
those
also
little...
the South African one is just a robot. Like, the exactly. After the robot, can I get off after the robot? Literally.
Exactly. But whatever you think, one thing is for sure, robots are actually here to stay.
Absolutely.
They're already becoming an integral part of everyday life, and we are joined in studio by Andrew Klazinga, a robot engineer and CEO at Clans Robotics, as well as Ibrahim Sadain from I Love Robots. So make sure if you have any questions, slide into our DMs, post on our Facebook page. We're going to be chatting tech today.
Yes, and I love that. Tech Wednesdays are literally my favorite day. Gents, welcome to the show, and
Thanks
you
so much.
for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, feel at the beginning of everything, I just need to find out, when did your love for robotics or engineering come into play?
Well, I started my career in IT, so all things tech. And then once robotics came on the scene a couple of years ago and became more accessible and something you could actually just get off a shelf, that's something that I thought, wow, this looks like a great way to teach and train people around robotics and get them really excited about science, technology, engineering, and maths. And that's the time that I got into this, about 5 years ago.
5 years ago. That's fairly new, I think.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, the robotics itself is not that new, but the widespread availability of kits is what has really taken off recently.
Got you. And then when did your love begin?
Oh, just when I was a kid. So movies, you watch, Jurassic Park, Gremlins, Chucky, all the animatronics, when something moves and you go, how did that thing move?
Yeah.
And that kind of love. And then I started getting into computers in high school, and then I went to UCT and studied mechatronic engineering, which is robotics is a subset of mechatronics.
Oh, okay.
Oh, mechatronics, yeah.
I know exactly what that is.
I think that's what I love about Tech Wednesdays, right? Is that nobody's walking away from the show not having learned at least one new thing.
Yeah.
So another question is, what is the field of robotics about? Can you break it down for us and for the viewers? Are there different kinds of robots? What is robotics generally about?
Well, yeah, so you do get lots of different kinds of robots. The kinds of robots that you may be most familiar with is something that you see on the TV, for example. But
the beep up, beep ups.
Exactly.
Those robots.
But one of the most common robots that first came out was industrial robots, while on a production line, assembling your motor vehicle, for example. And over time, you've got robots which are more autonomous, which can actually work on their own. And then you have robots which are remote controlled. For example, in the military, you have robots that can be used for bomb disposal. So there's quite a wide range and different use cases for robots.
And then now when robots come into play, most people think robotics and coding. How does robots and coding go hand in hand?
Yes, so think of it kind of like language. So right now I'm speaking to you. I tell you to lift your hand.
Yes.
The word comes up my mouth, comes into your ears, and your brain then tells you to lift your hand. So basically in a machine, it's the same idea. Each robot has a brain, and the brain can do things, it can make things move, but it needs to know how to do that. So all coding is a list of instructions. Do X, Y, Z, and then as you get more advanced coding, you get very low level, which is move every little motor exactly a certain amount, to the point where you say, pick up this cup, and then the code tells it to move all the motors down to pick up the cup like that. So it's just a list of instructions.
Oh, see,
That's such a great explanation, you know, explaining, because we don't always think how our brains work because they work so automatically. So it's actually a really good explanation. Now, when it comes, I mean, that's amazing to hear, but what would you say, what are the pros and the cons of robotics?
Well, I think one of the major pros of robotics is that things can, they can be automated.
Right.
Tasks that human beings shouldn't necessarily be doing, tasks that are quite dangerous and in hazardous environments, you could send a robot in to do that, and there's no risk to the human being or to the human operator. The flip side of that, of course, is that any technology can be used either for good or it can be abused. So one of the major discussions right now is about the use of autonomous robots in the military. So should a robot be able to make decisions, literally life and death decisions, without any kind of input from a human operator? So that's kind of the far end of the spectrum in terms of the abuse that can occur, but also the other side is the amazing utility of robots and robotics.
Yeah, and you speak about the amazing utility of robots. How can we see it in our daily lives? Because I know the young people out there, we have quite young viewers, they're probably like, okay, I hear you guys, we're talking about military, but how am I, as a young person, experiencing robotics in my everyday life? Am I going to Pick n Pay, maybe seeing some robotics there, or just in my general life?
So it's already everywhere. I mean, for instance, an ATM. If you want to define a robot, basically, a robot is three things. It is a brain, a processor, it's a sensor, something so it can see things and it's an actuator, something that moves. ATM has a brain, it senses your inputs, card in, and then output is it moves it to send the money out. Like that. So that's basically how robots work like that. So for instance, we've got now robots in smart cars, Teslas, self-driving vehicles. They've got robots now in making pizzas for you and food, or put into vending machines that move around. There are robotics for farmers where it can, instead of spraying all the crops, it targets individual weeds, saving money and time and weight as well. It comes into absolutely everything around like that. So anything that's simple can be a repeatable task done over and over again will be replaced by a robot.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one thing I learned, that a brain and a processor are equivalent.
Yes, and coding is like the instruction to make sure that you get to the right place.
Look how much we learned, guys. Thank you so much. Don't worry, you're going to hear some more just now as well, so make sure that you stay tuned.
Absolutely. Remember, the Princess of Presenting is in the building, as well as Ulorizi. Usibu is also in the building, who's going to be chatting to us about how you guys can get involved right here on the biggest youth show in the motherland. Head on to our socials and show us up. Right now, though, Sibu, what's going on in your side?
Asibonge Larry and Lwalwala. I think Ulwaye, that's her name now. It's Lwalwala. But what an interesting thing that we are talking about. We are talking all things robotics. So a question made here on our social media is, tell us what you'd like to know about robotics. So please do make sure that you hashtag us and tell us, bye. This is what I'd actually like to know about robots and how they function, what they do and other stuff. But do not go anywhere as we are about to continue in Ngoyo after the ad break.
Still with Andrew Klazinger, and a robot engineer and chief executive officer at Claz Robotics, as well as Ibrahim Sadin from I Love Robotics. We are discussing robotics and the future of that in South Africa. No, we're not talking about traffic lights.
No.
If you've got any questions about robotics, comment on our Facebook page, EKSE Live. Our social media question is, if you could create a robot to do any task, what would it do?
I feel like I would answer that a bit later because I feel like I still want to know more about robotics.
Definitely.
But make sure you guys are heading onto our social media platforms and let us know. First question.
So, you know, we've discussed on the show previously artificial intelligence. And when people hear AI, they kind of, you know...
Conspiracy.
Exactly. They either swing one way or the other, and every movie ever always addresses the moral component of, you know, like, where's the line?
Yeah.
So before, you know, it's bringing us to machine learning, what would you guys say about artificial intelligence?
Well, I think one of the big challenges of artificial intelligence is try to make it as neutral as possible so that it doesn't, you know, when artificial intelligence is being created by a human being, that person has biases and that can be inputted into what is created. So that's one of the major challenges we're facing currently. We live in a world which isn't the most equitable, and engineers and software developers are of a specific demographic. So
there's a constant like teetering of...
Exactly that. So what you need is to have your AI to be created in such a way that it has values which actually covers the vast majority of the world, as opposed to the person sitting behind the keyboard just pounding away in its. So that's one of the big challenges at the moment.
Got you. And that is a challenge to try to figure out the happy medium between that.
Yep.
Another happy medium that I'm happy to hear about is that in 2023, schools will be adding robotics as well as coding into the 2023
so needed.
school curriculum. I think that is so amazing in the curriculum. How do you feel about that, and what does that look like for our young people here in Saudi?
Finally. So there's two aspects of that. The first one is that everything, right now, ATMs, your money, your cars, cameras, everything runs on software and robotics and hardware, and no one knows how to use it.
Yeah.
So you live in a world where nothing you understand. Back in the day, you could fix a car with a hammer and a mallet, but now you have to program the systems, plug the computers in like that.
Yeah.
At the same time, kids also, even if they're not going to use coding, they now know what's possible in the future.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they're also learning logic puzzles. Robotics says a lot much about, I need to remove the weeds from my garden.
Yeah.
How do I do that? Well, there's light, like sensors, what light, how far, what's the distances, what's the motor speed. It teaches you how to break down a problem into simple aspects and solve them step by step by step. So that logical aspect, which also improves IQ as well.
Yeah.
So regardless of whether you can use it in the future or not, it still has a big importance in your life.
Right, got you.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, technology and robotics specifically is constantly advancing. And so just like Laura was bringing up, you know, coding being brought into schools and families and parents wanting to expose their kids to robotics. But why is it important that kids understand? Why is it important that children sort of get involved in this topic?
Well, I think it's because at this point in time, we actually surrounded everything in our lives almost revolves around information technology, whether it's the phone in your pocket or what you're watching on television and things that are being streamed, those sorts of things. So it's very important that at this point, kids are equipped and trained and develop an interest in technology and education that for a world that we can't even imagine, because information technology accelerates development so fast. I mean, in 20 to 30 years' time, we don't have any idea where AI, robotics, are we going to be living on Mars? Those sorts of things are going to be. So the best thing we can do is actually equip through education from a very early stage and an excitement around science, technology, and engineering, so that kids are equipped for literally the world of tomorrow.
And now that we have our young future in our minds and we're thinking about them and how we're going to involve this, I want to find out, what does the future of robotics and coding look like, not just in South Africa, but what does it mean for the world in general? Like, do you think it's proceeding? I mean, we're already in the 4th industrial revolution, so you think it's proceeding in the right way? What does it look like for us in the future?
Yeah, so one big disadvantage of robotics is it's expensive. So we'll always find it where the business first comes. So farmers, whether it's drones looking for trees that have problems, better tractors like that, self-driving cars. Eventually, we've already got some in the home, like Roombas, like cleaning, like that. Eventually, we'll get now, I mean, what they're now doing already in America is if you have a parcel, like Amazon, they deliver by drone. Or the vehicle self-drives to your door, the robot walks out, picks up the package, puts it in your doorstep and comes back in. That already exists now. So they put it on door like that. So delivery, packaging, sorting out warehouses. They're already doing indoor garden. They're farming indoor in the middle of a city underground now. So you've got underground farming.
But some might worry about job security. If we get enough robots to do stuff, then why do we need humans? Why do we need to pay humans?
So, as I said, it's called cobotics. So, if I tell you right now, count to a trillion and name all the prime numbers, go. You go, no.
I'm sorry, what?
A computer will do like this in a second. But if I tell the computer, pick up that plant, they're going to go, no. So, there's certain advantages of machines, advantages of computers. Put them together. So, in the warehouse, the machine will be sorting things out. But, like, for instance, the recycling will be sorted out. But then the human will go, no, that's wrong, that's right. I want it over there instead. So, you combine it called cobotics like that.
Okay, that's good.
So the humans will remain in manager position.
In power.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much once again to our fantastic guests for joining here today. But I wanted to know if just one more thing, if people want to get hold of you guys and understand more about robotics or get involved, how can they do that?
Yeah, so you can contact us via the website, iloverobotics.co.za. Also drop my mail, info@iloverobotics.co.za, or give us a call, 703-9899.
That's awesome.
You can find us on our website, or you can find us on our social media. Otherwise, next year we are creating something called Team Robot, which is going to be education for schools and kids as well. If they want to learn how to build drones, that kind of stuff. So keep that. It'll be posted on the Class Robotics stuff. So keep that in mind if you want to.
Yes, ladies and gents, keep that in mind, and hopefully your minds are as triggered as mine. I feel
I
like
know
I'm
I have so
excited.
many more questions, and I've got more answers.
I think maybe I shouldn't be a 2%er, guys. I should be working with. Let's just stand up and go. Ladies and gents, hopefully you guys are inspired as well. Remember, we have a question on our social media. What robots would you like to see? Robizi, before I send her off to Sibu, what would you like to see?
What task? I feel like I'm very lazy, right? So like dishes, laundry, definitely.
But there already is a dishwasher.
No, I need somebody to move the dishes to the dishwasher. That's the level of lazy.